MetroKiaofMadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
We're learning a lot about each other. Jim's and each other. Yeah. You got to peel back the layers to get to the good part.
He's not just a basic Bears fan.
And no one in Madison wants to hear from the Bears fan that Jim is. He's really annoying. So it's like, hey, you should be lucky to be to have a good quarterback. Look at what my team has. Nobody cares what your team has. They only care about Jordan Love. And the reality is, Jim happens to be right on his assessment of Jordan Love, but it's annoying because of the angle in which
Broadcasting
he's coming from.
live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison, alongside Molly Brown. Here's Jim Rutledge.
That's right. You get more Jim Rutledge today. You had me 9 to noon, and I am back for round 2, my regularly scheduled show. Jim, Matt, and Molly. No Matt Hamilton, of course. But I am here in the Everlight Solar Studio with Primetime Wollersheim rocking his fantastic Allen Iverson throwback jersey, a reference to Willie and Tausch earlier today. We asked you, I don't know why you were so out of focus there, Ryan. But
you're very blurry.
Yeah, the camera in here needs some glasses. I don't know what's going on there.
But we asked you the most random jersey that you own. And I did point out, as a Bears fan, I haven't bought a lot of jerseys, but if I wanted to, I could have some random-ass Bears jerseys for quarterbacks. I mean, Cordell Stewart, Bears quarterback. Jason Campbell, former Commanders quarterback the Bears. Rick Meyer, Jimmy Clausen, Matt Barkley. There are some randos. My favorite one, though, would be Dave Craig. I would like a Dave Craig Bears jersey. He is from Milton College, which does not exist anymore, from Milton, Wisconsin. And he played for the Seahawks and the Chiefs and a couple other teams, but he quarterbacked the Bears one year for 12 games at 38 years old. So that jersey would be pretty amazing to have. A Dave Craig Chicago Bears jersey would be elite. Get into the show.
One day you're going to be saying this about your Caleb Williams jersey, and it's going to be a great day.
Oh, you're just being a hater, Molly, up at the zoo. Get into the show, 844-770-3776. And we got a lot to get into, including, we'll post this question up at Jim, Matt, and Molly. Who's the most annoying but right person in your life? Is it me? Is it
like me?
Your parents? Also me. You know, my life. I'm a parent. I'm sure my kids get annoyed that I'm right all the time.
So you can tell Rutledge that.
And the dentist could be an option. Doctor.
Is the dentist always right? Is that
like
normal?
That. Yeah, I mean, they tell you to brush your teeth and floss. And this is an important one. Use fluoride. So, like, maybe. So the last would be scientists, because I feel like a lot of people don't like scientists, but they're right.
Ugh, nerds.
Is it doctor? Maybe we go doctors, dentists, scientists, or me.
Take that for data.
Because your parents are, I feel like I'm more right than your parents are.
What about your spouse?
Scientists
Is your
are
spouse
right.
a good option?
Ooh.
I think that's a good option.
Then let's make it more personal then.
Okay.
Is it Jim Rutledge, your spouse, or your parents?
Yeah, I like that.
Or sibling, who could be the last one if you wanted to. Because they always write sibling as annoying. You'd have to ask my brother.
But can we get him on the private talking text line?
You probably get him on the regular one if he's not working. Actually, I'll share a moment of me being annoying with my brother.
No. How could that ever happen?
So this past weekend, my parents came to town. They came to town on Friday. My brother sent a text, this is important, on Tuesday saying, hey, what do you think? Could Maddie and I come to town next weekend? Now, let me ask both of you. On a Tuesday, you get a text that says next weekend. Are you thinking the weekend coming up or the following weekend?
The following weekend, because he said next.
Yep.
Yeah, I would think next weekend.
The following.
Yeah, because that's what next weekend is.
Yes. So I texted him on Friday, met up with my parents, and I was talking with them, and I'm flying to. So it would have been this weekend he was coming to town. His birthday is this weekend, too. So I was like, oh, cool. Maybe I can see him on his birthday. I was like, I'm flying to Oklahoma Sunday afternoon. So, like, I would be around all day Saturday and most of the day Sunday. I don't fly out till 5, which means I got to be at the airport in Madison like 4:45, so it'll be fine. I still have plenty of time. And he goes, "Oh, I meant this weekend." And I was like, "Well, why didn't you say that?" And he goes, "Well," and then he's like, I think you knew what I was talking about or something like that. And then I was like, I literally went to Google, got the definition, screenshot it, and sent it to him. And he goes, "Only you." So I was just like, bro, no. I'm not letting this slide. There's no way I am letting that slide. It's not even like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You are 100% in the wrong. If it's starting Monday, it is definitely this weekend, without a doubt. Monday morning at 12:01 a.m., this weekend would be the weekend coming up. And then the next weekend would be next weekend. Because it's literally the next weekend. You can't even describe the next weekend without saying next weekend.
This reminds me, Ryan, you probably know what I'm talking about, when Jesse was saying that the Cardinals game against the Packers was, what was it? He was saying this past weekend.
Oh, yes. That was annoying.
But it was actually their last game was the Texans?
Yeah, that's
he was referring to 2 weeks prior?
He was arguing something on Wildy Tausch that I think it was on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was a Tuesday. That Tausch had said last week's game, we beat the Texans last week or something. Or maybe that's what it was. He was saying last week's game against the Texans. Jesse said that. And then they were like, they played the Cardinals last week, dude. What are you talking about? He's like, that wasn't last week. That was on Sunday. That's not last week. It's what, Jesse, that's last week in the NFL. That's the NFL calendar. That's the previous week's game.
Yes.
Because he tried to even argue, it's like, well, Monday Night Football last night wasn't last week. It's like, well, yeah, but Sunday's game was anyways. And Monday was technically in the NFL calendar. That was last week's game. Yes. It was.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Johnny in the 608 says, "Dang, with Jim being on the morning show, I was hoping I didn't have to hear him on my way home. Ugh." And
Judgmental Jim.
Well, AC and Tosa is being very nice, and he says, "Jim, you can't be annoying. Not very possible. LOL, all the Jim hate voicemails."
Yeah.
Did you get more voicemails today, maybe?
I don't know. He's been trying to shield me, one of our marketing people here, and I told her, no longer, don't shield me. That gives me, what's the word, power. I don't want to meet hate with hate, but just know that hate fuels me. That the more you hate me, the happier I am. I did pick up a vibe, and you ever go to someone else's house, or you get to know people, and it's just different vibes than your own house. And
yes.
Wildy and Tausch, their house, different vibes. Now, I haven't felt that before because in the past, we've kind of done, Molly, you have not done this yet, so I'm going to refer to it as the Rutledge and Hamilton takeover of Wildy and Tausch. And when we do that, it's our show. We just do our show. And today, with Jesse Nelson, the hall monitor, hosting Wildy and Tausch, I was a guest on their show, a guest in their house. And it felt like Jesse was afraid of upsetting mom and dad the whole time. That I was just gonna be me. We got a lot of people messaging in.
People like me.
People do like me, or at least react to me. And I got a little vibe that Jesse was a little concerned that mom and dad would get upset. So it was a unique experience because it's the first time in a long time I've gone on someone else's show to host it, and it was fun. Also, man, it is Molly. All due respect, your job is easy. You just get to hang out and just speak when you get a minute. That's nice.
To not be the lead host.
Yes.
Oh yes, it is so easy being the number 2 to Jim Rutledge. Yes.
You're not the number
Very
2.
Utterly preposterous.
You're the co-host to the host.
1B.
There you go. But you just I hope you guys listen to more than I do. Jesse, I didn't really listen to. I just waited for when it was quiet, I just start talking again.
So who do you like hosting shows with more? Do you like hosting more with Jesse or me?
Oh, Molly, come on now. Give yourself some credit.
I just wanted the compliment, if I'm being honest.
That's not really a compliment, but yes, obviously. Now, if you ask me, Matt or you, I still have to say you. But that's honestly because I've already hosted more with you than what I have with Matt Hamilton, which is wild. But it is true. It's one of those weird things. 844-770-3776. to get into the show. Here's the thing I want to also bring up is I said something on the show that I think would have triggered Packer fans more if Jesse didn't kind of gloss over it. But I would like to point out that, and I don't have a ton of faith in my Bears, but let's just assume they've been able to beat bad teams. Like, we know that. And let's just assume that they're over their Washington Commanders Hail Mary hangover. And if they're over those, then you can have a situation where the Bears will likely beat New England. It's in Chicago. New England's not a good team. So then the Bears would win that game. They'll be 5-4. They'll face the 6-3 Green Bay Packers at Soldier Field. And I don't think the Bears, especially depending on how this Patriots game goes, like I could see them winning ugly. I don't see the Bears beating the Packers, but that game, and it says more about the Packers than the Bears, that game, the loser of it will be in last place in the NFC North. So if the Bears win this weekend, just for my feelings, it would be nice for the Packers to have to square off against the Bears to stay out of last place in the North. That speaks more about the Packers than it does the Bears, but that's where we're at. So I want to ask this question, and I think it's worth trying to figure out the odds for it, but is it more likely the Packers finish in first or last in the division this season? 844-770-3776. Is it more likely that the Packers finish first or last in the NFC North this season?
I mean, I don't know how you can think that they're going to finish first. Like, so many things would have to go the right way for the Packers, right? Like, the Detroit Lions would have to start losing, which I don't think is going to happen. I think they're just going to continue to get better and better. The Vikings, I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but who knows what's going to happen with them. They're such a weird team year after year. But and this is probably just me being pessimistic / realistic, whatever it may be, but like, it's so much easier for me to think that they're going to be in last place than first place. I can't wrap my head around first place at all at this point in the season.
I think last place in the division, and this is where it gets tricky. The real answer is third could be their, or even second could be their most likely landing spot. But Detroit now, having won, are they 2-0 in the division? Have they beaten Minnesota?
They beat Minnesota, yeah. They had a comeback win. They haven't played the Bears yet, right?
Right. So, yeah. So they're 2-0 right now in the division against the two teams below them in the division. They beat the Packers at Lambeau Field. Now, obviously, the Packers can go to Detroit and win. That's obviously been done before. But it does set them up. They are 7-2 now with the tiebreaker over the Packers again. But don't forget, the Packers, when you're looking at multiple tiebreakers here, Packers have lost to Philadelphia within the NFC. They've lost to Detroit, and they've lost to Minnesota, all within the NFC. So their losses are in the NFC. So they are 0-3 in their conference. And that's important when you're talking about playoff positioning and making the playoffs. I don't think the Packers are going to finish last, but it is far more likely that the Packers finish last than first. 844-770-3776 is how you get into the show. And that speaks, honestly, heavily to the division. If I was truly making a bet, I think the Packers finish second in the division. But that's still hard because I could see them splitting against Minnesota. Let's say they split against Detroit, and it could be a tiebreaker in the conference again that could put the Packers in the wrong position there. But if I was still a betting man, I'd bet them to finish second. But for this specific question, I would go with last. 844-770-3776, how you get into the show. Carbon World Health will help keep you out of last in whatever you're competing in, whether that's life, whether that's working out, a marathon, basketball like I've played the last 2 mornings. Carbon World Health can help you be the best you. Semaglutide is a way to change your life, help you lose weight. It has a lot of other benefits as well. So ask them about semaglutide. See if it's right for you. It's the most effective way to lose weight. Don't get caught up in diet gimmicks. Just go to Carbon World Health and take semaglutide. That will help you lose the weight you're trying to lose. Hormone optimization is another way to help you get healthier and another way for you to lose weight. Because if your hormones aren't right, then it's harder for you to shed weight and gain muscle. The other thing, cryotherapy, red light therapy, and the workouts, all at Carbon World Health. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Kevin Bozeman, and when I'm in town, I'm making sure I'm always listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, even when I'm on air. I still listen to myself, because that's how great that show is.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Matt Hamilton here to tell you about my friends at Revive Restoration. Nobody plans for accidents to happen, but when they do, you can count on Revive to be professional, efficient, and detail-oriented as they make things right again. Revive Restoration.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Jim, Matt, and Molly every Thursday to find out where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes and High Life Lights. To celebrate our love for dive bars, we are going to tell you about some of our favorites, including one featured dive bar that will offer $2 High Lifes and High Life Lights for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin like Utica Bar, Red Mouse, New Paradise Lounge, and the Dive Inn.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Have you lost weight in the past but gained it all back and more? We know the secret to losing weight and keeping it off long-term without drugs or injections. At MadisonWeightLoss.com, many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, or keep it off without prepackaged meals, no exercising, no hormones, no injections, no drugs or surgery. Go to MadisonWeightLoss.com now.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. I'm celebrating a birthday this week, and I'm also celebrating how I haven't felt or looked as good as I do right now in years. It's all thanks to Madison Weight Loss. In 60 days, I dropped 40 pounds of unwanted fat simply by changing up my diet. With expert coaching and guidance, trust me, Madison Weight Loss is the real deal.
To learn about our program, go to MadisonWeightLoss.com and schedule your free private phone consultation. Our staff will walk you through our entire program, talk about your health goals, and see if it's a good fit for you. Call 608-774-7241 or go to MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule your free phone consultation now. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on Twitter for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
Phish Friday on Jim, Matt, and Molly is brought to you by Off-Broadway Draft House. Enjoy a traditional Friday fish fry at Madison's favorite neighborhood gathering spot, Off-Broadway Draft House.
I feel like the fans think the division is just theirs before the season even starts. They think that the division is theirs right now as we speak. They think it's still theirs. I feel like they're delusional. I don't know.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I've been there 4 years. Yeah. Every year, the North is ours.
Right.
I'm speaking ours like when I was there. North is ours.
It could be the last game of the season. The North is not even theirs. They still think it's theirs until it's finally not theirs. And then when it's not theirs, it's like, okay, it's still ours because you guys just won it 1 year. So that just kind of blows me.
That was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Where was he saying that?
That was on the St. Brown's podcast. He and his
with
brother.
Equinemius.
Yeah.
Former Bear, former Packer.
How could you ever forget Equinemius St. Brown? I mean...
You know what? He was a good professional receiver.
He still is, actually.
Is he still in the league?
He plays for the Saints, yeah.
Okay, so he's just a guy that good special teams player.
Yeah.
Good in the run game, good blocker in the run game.
Great tight end.
Yeah, honestly, he's just not... And the ball went his way. I seemed like he caught it. He's just not...
Can I throw out a comp for him? Discount Alan Lazard.
That's funny. Alan Lazard popped in my head. And I was like, Alan Lazard's too good. So
remember when they were all on the Packers at the same time?
Yeah. He just had a bunch of trees running routes. It's really all they were.
That audio clip kind of really actually bothers me. I don't like being lumped into a group of Packer fans. I don't like I didn't have any expectations of them winning the division this year. So like even entering the season, like I knew that the Lions were going to be good. So that just bothers me that I'm like grouped into this group now. I don't like that.
She's Molly Brown. I am Jim Rutledge. I'm live from the Everlight Solar Studio. Primetime Laura Shine with me. Molly Brown up at the zoo. And, you're right, but there are a collection. It's not like the Lions own the Packers, but have they won? Is it 4 out of the last 6? That sounds about right.
I think it's 4 out of the last 6. They might be since 2020.
Because they beat Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field to keep the Packers out of the playoffs.
Yep.
And then did they sweep them the following year?
No, last year, 2022, they split because of the Thanksgiving game.
So 2021 was, I'm getting all caught up.
2021, they split, yes. 2022, they split.
Okay.
And then this year, Lions won the
1-0.
first game.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotcha. So it's still more, but it's still far more even than it's been in a long time between those two teams.
For sure.
The Packers definitely used to own the Lions like they own the Bears. Now, I would say those two teams are pretty equals. 844-770-3776 is how you get into the show. We are asking you, is it more likely that the Packers finish first or last in the NFC North? Right now, 75% of you say first, which I think you're getting caught up in the last part of it. I don't think they're going to finish last, but I do think that mathematically, you got glasses, Ryan. You might be able to figure this out.
Oh, my gosh. Well, but
he does stats.
I'm just going to be annoying because I'm like the dentist, I'm like the scientist, the doctors. I just sound like one of those guys.
Just like, this is how I did math, which is why I was like a C- student in math. The vibes telling me like multiple choice math was my best, and I'd be like, I just feel like this has got to be the right answer. Like I was able to get it close enough, and then like if it was multiple choices, like I would just stop and be like, it's going to be this, I think.
Yeah, that looks right.
So like it feels right to say, since the Packers are 0-3 in the conference and 0-2 in the division, that it'd be more likely they finish last, but I wouldn't bet on them winning last. But we're asking a binary question, 844-770-3776.
So I do have some numbers that could be useful for this. Right now, there's the ESPN's playoff predictor. They provide stats for making the playoffs, winning the division, earning a bye, or making the Super Bowl. As of right now, the Packers have an 8% chance to win the division, and they have a 76% chance to make the playoffs, which means they have a 24% chance to miss the playoffs. And I'm assuming if they're if they take fourth in the division, they're missing the playoffs. And I think I'm assuming if you get third, you probably still, make the playoffs in the NFC North this year. So, fudge the numbers a little bit. I would say it's a 20% chance to take fourth in the NFC North. 8% chance to win the division.
What are the Packers' chances of going to the Super Bowl? Did you not want to read us that number?
I can. It's 10%, actually. It's the
higher than I thought it would be.
It's the fourth highest in the NFC. It's actually higher than the Vikings and the Falcons.
What do you guys? I did my tiers earlier on Wilde and Tausch. What do you guys? We got a minute here before Jason Wilde joins us. We got to take a break to talk to him. 844-770-3776. Let me give you my tiers, and you guys can react to it. As far as where I think you talk about Packers having a 10% chance of going to the Super Bowl, which is fourth best. I will give you my tiers once I hear my favorite music.
You hang out with Jesse. You hang out with Jesse Nelson for one day, and now you're like tiering things.
Well, he asked me to tier it, so whatever. So repurposing content, Molly. I only got so many ideas. I'm running out of brain cells today. All right, tier 1, Detroit. That's it. I think everyone else is battling to see who's going to play Detroit in the NFC Championship game. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Yeah. I think they're super.
Good stuff.
I think they're either winning the Super Bowl or they're Super Bowl runner-up.
Yeah. The reasons why, one, Jared Goff, he's been in the Super Bowl before. He's been in the NFC Championship games before. This Detroit team seems like they believe in themselves. They're playing a little bit of bully ball. They remind me a little bit of Baltimore. There's a style of play to them. And I didn't get a chance to ask Jason Wilde this, but I want to ask him when I talk later with him today. One way the Packers, I think, could maybe improve offensively is to borrow a little bit of the Lions' identity. The Lions, they play smash mouth football. They run the ball. Their identity is tough as nails. That's not the Packers' identity. I'm not saying the Packers are soft, but their identity is not tough as nails.
Do you attribute that to their run game?
I attribute that to their head coach. Dan Campbell is tough as nails, and their defense is tough as nails. Their offense is tough as nails. David Montgomery runs the ball hard. Then you mix in Gibbs and then Jared Goff. Again, not explosive, but just makes all the right plays. So this is just it's It's almost like the way you wish the Badgers were: smart, tough, dependable. Like that's how I would describe the Lions. Now, I'm not saying the Packers aren't those things, but I think they should hopefully get Marshawn Lloyd back sooner than later. He could be ready for the Bear game. I would say lean into the run game. Run more with Jacobs, more with Lloyd, and maybe come to grips that for this season, Jordan Love is playing closer to Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott. And what do you do with those quarterbacks? You use the run game, or even more like Brock Purdy. You use the run game to make the pass game easier for those guys. That you could coach Jordan Love and run the offense with Jordan Love, not like he's Aaron Rodgers, but like he's most NFL quarterbacks, and use that run game to make his life easier. But, all right, so my other tiers. Tier 2, I have Washington, Philly, Green Bay, Atlanta, Minnesota, 49ers. These are all teams that I think are in contention to play the Lions in Detroit in the NFC Championship game. 49ers, Green Bay, Atlanta, Minnesota, Washington, Philly. Those are all probably playoff teams.
That's just the rest of the playoff field?
Essentially. Now, Minnesota I have kind of in that lower end of 2. I could see Minnesota falling out, Atlanta falling out. I think the 49ers are going to climb up now that they got McCaffrey back.
So you would have, in this tier, are the Packers slightly ahead of the Vikings?
They're all together.
Okay, clumped.
Yeah.
They're clumped.
It's just Minnesota, I don't know. They might have an easier chance to actually get to the playoffs, which is why they got to be close. But at the same time, I don't know if I believe in them or not.
That's funny because the ESPN analytics actually shows they have a higher percent chance to make the playoffs than the Packers, but a lower percent chance to win the Super Bowl.
Which makes sense, right? Because it's almost like I can see them making the playoffs because they have the right start, they got the right tiebreakers, but I don't see Sam Darnold leading his team to the Super Bowl. And then
I think the team that actually scares me most out of the teams you just listed in tier 2 are the Atlanta Falcons. Like, maybe I'm just way overestimating Kirk Cousins and his ability and that team in general, but I've watched a couple other games this season, and I'm like, damn, they're going to be that sneaky team that I just have a feeling that the Packers are going to be duking it out with at the end.
If I was putting arrows on these teams, I would put Philadelphia, Atlanta, and 49ers with the arrow out. Washington, they have not played as well the last couple games. The Bears had him in check. Daniels had 2 big-time plays, one being the Hail Mary, and then one other big-time throw. He was not dynamic. They didn't score a ton of points against Chicago. I think they struggled a little bit against New York. It wasn't a beautiful game. So there's that. And then you have the Packers, I think, with arrow would be down. Minnesota, arrow would be down. Atlanta's been trending and looking like they're playing better. Philly's played better over the last couple of weeks. And the 49ers getting McCaffrey back, I think they're going to continue to play better. So tier 3 are teams that might make the playoffs. They have no shot of making a run to the Super Bowl or getting to the NFC Championship game, but they have a shot at the playoffs, at least a little bit. Zona, Rams, Chicago, Tampa. And Seattle's one of those where probably not. I guess I'm going to move Seattle down a notch. So I got Tampa, Chicago, Rams, and Zona as maybe they can backdoor their way into the playoffs with injuries, but they're not going to go anywhere if they get there.
Molly, as someone who lived in Arizona, how do you feel about Jim saying Zona multiple times in that last 30 seconds?
I mean, it's a thing. It's funny, though, because I feel like I attribute that more. It's not a bad question, but I feel like I attribute Zona more to University of Arizona because they call themselves the Zona Zoo.
Oh, the
that's
zoo!
Hey! Zona Zoo. Didn't even think about it.
Calling you Wildcat from now on.
There we go.
You could. Wildcats, get your head in the game. No.
High School Musical, Jim.
No, sorry. I was like, what?
You'll understand in a couple years when your girls are interested, maybe.
Rosie watched that, but thankfully she watched that on her iPad when and I drove somewhere with her, so she fired it up on there.
It's such a good movie. Such a good movie. But no, I actually like you calling it Zona. It makes you feel more homey. Not homey, but homey. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay. And then the who cares teams, Dallas, New York, Saints, Carolina. They're done. Cooked, if you will.
Which is so wild that Dallas is in there, right? I feel like Dallas and Chicago have almost essentially switched places.
And if Chicago loses to New England, I think they're going to go into that cooked group as well. If you're cooked or in the doghouse or any of those things, go to Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. Get yourself a nice piece of custom jewelry. You can do engagement ring. You can do wedding bands. You can take old jewelry and get it repaired. You can take old jewelry, have it melted down, and make a brand new piece. There's so many great options at Madison's Custom Jeweler. Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. Family-owned custom jewelers in Madison area, Chalmers Jewelers. Jason Wilde joins the show next.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Get ready for the moment we've all been been waiting for. It's the 300K season finale giveaway at Potawatomi. Friday, December 20th, watch your entries from Bird Bash, Cash Clash, and Winter Stash. All pile into one massive drawing for a chance at up to 50 grand cash. Be there to win your share. December 20th, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/finale. Must be 21 years old to play.
Forget about the front row. The best seat and the best place to be on game day is Off-Broadway Draft House for all the sports. Check out our new game day menu with tostado nachos and featuring $2 hams on tap. Those specials are available all day on Saturdays and Sundays. Find out firsthand why Off-Broadway Draft House was Madison's People's Choice winners for favorite bar, wait staff, and more. Game day, any day. Discover what others already know. Off-Broadway Draft House. Come for the beer, stay for the food.
There's a good chance if you watch sports, you're getting served information about hormone optimization. What does that even mean? Dr. Nestor Rodriguez at Carbon World Health can tell you exactly what hormone optimization means. He will take your blood work and let you know if it's right for you. If you're feeling sluggish, not losing weight like you used to, you're not gaining muscle like you used to, or you just don't feel like yourself in most aspects of your life, go see Dr. Nestor Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. In fact, sign up for the 6-week experience so you can see everything that Carbon World Health has to offer, including hormone optimization. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts? Make them wider.
Gina Della from Pella, how'd you get into the booth?
And why just yellow? Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, you can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want.
Right now, get 0% interest for 60 months.
Visit PellaWI.com.
Hold your appointment on or before November 8th. Certain restrictions apply.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. Equinox EV and the all-new Equinox offer award-winning quality and style to see you through the holiday season. See why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Is your computer so slow you can hardly use it? Does it have blue screens, malware, viruses, reboots, hardware crashes? Sound familiar? Computers will have problems, and when they do, you need the computer experts at Madison Computer Works. Every day we help home users and businesses keep their computers and networks running smoothly. For solutions to your computer problems, call the pros at 231-8000, and we'll turn this into this. Madison Computer Works. Computers that work for you.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Jason, quick question.
You are one of one.
3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year.
Help me understand a little bit more clearly what you're asking.
Did you ever hear it called Don't Go Jason Waterfalls?
Is this Matt Hamilton?
So I kind of just thought of this question on the spot. So it needs to be workshopped a little. I'm not going to lie.
That's same as Matt.
Jason Wilde is on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
We are thrilled that Jason Wilde, who works harder than Matt Hamilton, Jason works harder on his day off than Matt Hamilton works on his days on ESPN Wisconsin. It is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. Matt Hamilton will be in apparently Monday and Tuesday this upcoming week. I will not. So at least we'll have Matt around. But Jason, thanks for joining us on your day off.
I have talked to you a lot today, Jimmy.
I know. Twice. I was saying it's different. The last time that the few times I've filled in on Wilde and Tausch, it's been like the Rutledge and Hamilton, because Molly wasn't a part of the show yet, takeover. This time around, I was hosting with Jesse, and I got the vibe that he didn't want to upset you guys. Like throughout the show, it was just kind of like, hey, keep it down. I don't want to wake my parents up. Like it was just like I felt like a guest in someone else's house where I had to follow the house rules. It was a little different. It's the first time I had a show like that.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know exactly what his thought process is there. Because I don't think Tausch and I clearly don't run a very tight ship, obviously.
He didn't either.
But you could. We're first of all, we're really appreciative that you could fill in, because I planned these couple of days, air quotes, off like 2 weeks ago, and apparently Tausch decided on like Wednesday that he was going to be here today. So thanks for stepping into the breach. And I all kidding aside, two things. One, I mentioned that Paula was giving me a hard time today because I'm supposed to be off, but this ain't hard work.
Right.
It is. I think it is work. I think it is important work at times. I think during COVID, all of our shows
this week
were a great distraction. This week as well, where you're not thinking about other stuff. But it is not as hard a work as a lot of other people do. So you'll never hear me complain. Now that said, working with Jesse, I am curious how that 3-hour experience went for you. You're obviously familiar with his work, but he was getting boom roasted yesterday for something he said, and then now I got more text this morning because he apparently softened his take to make it more palatable to me, so I would support him. And it was basically, for those that didn't catch this morning's show or yesterday's show that are listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, it was basically that the Packers defense is a little too fragile, that a fourth-round rookie missing time would throw it into a tizzy. And I thought I gave him some positive feedback while also pointing out that there's more nuance to it than that. But how did the 3 hours go with him?
I mean, it's exhausting. You know that. No, it went... He's exhausting. So actually... it went well. He was fun to host with, but I went from doing that show, and it was really fun to do the show. Because I'll be honest, when it started, I was like, 3 hours? Because he brought something up. He's like, hit the Bucks. I'm like, yeah, whatever. We got 3 hours. we got plenty of time to hit on whatever you want to. But it did fly by, so that's a credit to Jesse. Also, poor clock management for him. So, like, all of a sudden, we'd have like a 30-second segment and be like, all right, back to break. But then I host a home remodeling show that I taped right at noon. So I was at 4 hours, and then I have this. So I'm happy. My wife will be thrilled because I won't want to talk when I get home. I talk a lot. I want to be done. I might physically not be able to talk anymore for the night. So that'll be good.
So
Jim, I love that you're
Molly.
Yeah, Jim, I love that you're hating on somebody for clock management when literally you try to get into a topic at like 5:16 when we needed to go to break. I don't know,
I
3
love
minutes
being
earlier.
a co-host. I can just rip on the lead host, and I can just come and go as I want. It's lovely.
Yeah, tausching it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Jason, I was not able to talk to you on Tuesday when the trade deadline happened. So I was curious, what were your initial thoughts on the Preston Smith trade to the Steelers? I mean, I feel like, I guess I don't necessarily understand it. I know that there's been the reports of he requested the trade weeks ago and all that, but it just feels like the Packers are very thin in an already not very strong group of players.
Yeah. Well, my first thought was, what's up with that? What's up with that?
I should have incorporated that into my question.
I was a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, you'll own that one. Look, I think it's a really interesting question because there's a bunch of layers to it. There's, first of all, the layer of Preston Smith. And let's be clear, Preston Smith told the Pittsburgh media that he requested a trade. This isn't an agent leaking it. This isn't, somebody in the Packers building letting us know, hey, we really didn't want to trade him, but he wanted to be traded. Okay, so that's layer one. Layer two, though, is that I think the real question for me anyway is, had he not requested the trade, would he still have been traded? Because I do think that you saw his playing time the last couple weeks, coinciding apparently with the trade request, decreasing. His production over the last month, I mean, he had 2.5 sacks in the first 5 games. He has 0 sacks and I believe 2 pressures in the last 4 games. And he's turning 32 years old on the 17th, which is like a little over a week away. And obviously this is a team that's not super interested in old guys. That's all on one side of the ledger. On the other side of the ledger, it's exactly the point you just made, Molly, which is it's not like they're that good with him. And now you take him away, the one guy that's accomplished a lot in this league. He's other than Kenny Clark among defensive linemen, he is the most accomplished guy they had, right? He'd had double-digit sack seasons, like the guy, and he was a very good Packer. Let's make sure we say that too. Like he didn't miss games. He missed one his entire career. But the thinking that the Packers have, and they did it with Rasul Douglas last year, is we've got young guys we think aren't quite as good, but maybe because they'll get to play now will become even better than what this player is currently. Now, I think they were wrong on Rasul Douglas. And the fact that they were in the market for a corner a year removed from trading away a corner tells you that was probably a mistake, and that they made it thinking they were 3-6 at the time and they weren't a playoff team. So there's that layer. Now, the layer that I find the most interesting about this, though, other than the fact that Goody told us, well, it wasn't like we were calling a bunch of teams saying, hey, do you want Preston Smith? But when we got the call and we talked about it, we decided it was the right thing. That feels a little misleading. So he requested a trade, but you didn't make any calls to make that trade? And then the Steelers called. Now, it's possible that Preston Smith's agent obviously put the word out, and the Steelers said, oh, this guy wants to be traded. Maybe we can get him for 7th. Great. But here's the layer that I think is interesting, because when in the final analysis, the Packers traded a 7th-round pick to Tennessee to get Malik Willis. Now they have received a 7th-round pick for Preston Smith. So the transitive property of transactions tells me that the Packers essentially traded Preston Smith for Malik Willis. And Malik Willis has been critical to them winning 3 games, right, without Jordan Love, 2.5 games that Jordan Love has missed. Is that a trade that if I came to you and said, hey, Jordan Love's going to miss 2.5 games, and if you give up Preston Smith in a trade, you will win all 3 of those games, there is no way that Preston Smith was playing well enough that you would have said, no, I'd rather take my chances and maybe lose those games. So to me, it all comes out in the wash.
Jason, there's a weird chance here that the Packers and the Bears could be battling for last place in the division next week. And that says a lot more about the Packers than the Bears. But if the Bears win against New England, which they're favored, and they've been doing well at home, and they've been able to beat bad teams, it's the good teams that trip them up, the Bears would be 5-4. And the Packers, obviously, at 6-3, going to Soldier Field. The loser of that game would be obviously 6 and the Packers would be 6-4. The Bears would be 6-4 if they won, and then into the bottom of the division. I don't think the Bears would win that game, but that is a wild swing of where this division is at, but also where the Packers are at.
Well, and let's look at it from the other side of the coin. They would both be tied at 6-4 for potentially the final playoff spot, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the conference standings, there's a good chance that whoever finishes 3rd in the NFC North will capture a wild card spot also, right?
Yeah.
And so, with the additional 7th wild card, or 7th playoff spot, 3 wild cards, it would not shock me at all if they end up with 3 teams, and whether that's the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions, or the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings, whatever it ends up coming out to be, this will be coming out of the bye a pivotal game for a guy in Matt LaFleur who has never lost to the Bears, never 10-0, and a broken clock is right twice a day. I'm not sure that the Bears can win a game against the Packers once every 6 years, but maybe.
Right.
But you're right, and so it's a pivotal game going both directions. It's a pivotal game for both teams to say, hey, we're more than competitive for that 7th spot even if we're not going to win this division, which, the Packers, I'm not willing to say can't win the division, but it's an uphill climb. You look at their schedule and the fact that they lost 2 home games. Now, last year they went to Detroit and to Minnesota and won both games, so there's reason to think they can still do it. But the bottom line is that the Bears, who have obviously had their issues, and I don't know about you. You follow them much more closely than me, but it still feels like, after you lose on the Hail Mary where you got Stevenson trash talking instead of paying attention, I'm really eager to see if the Bears rebound from this, or that's the start of kind of the death rattle for Eberflus. And while they may have their quarterback, they still don't end up having their coach. So I'm really curious to see how the second half of their season plays out, starting with this Patriots game, because of what you said. They not only need to win this game, but based on the wins that they've gotten this season, that's a game that they absolutely should win.
Yes, and they obviously let the Commanders beat them twice because they were not meant. They just didn't show up against Arizona, so maybe they've locked it back in with the home game against New England. I wanted to ask this question because someone asked on your show when I was with Jesse, basically, what could the Packers do? Because I said the Detroit Lions have a different, I would say, mentality than the Packers. And not that the Packers aren't tough, but like the Lions are just Dan Campbell all the way down, David Montgomery, the defense, the offensive, like they're just gritty and tough, and they're just mean. And it's just, they're almost like the Ravens a little bit in their mentality. And not that the Packers aren't, but I think one thing the Packers could do, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, is if they view Jordan Love, at least the way he's playing right now, as more of a Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield type quarterback instead of the next Aaron Rodgers, that might serve them well, which means Marshawn Lloyd might be coming off IR, but you also have Wilson as well. Lean into the run game more and run your offense a little bit more how it looked like with Malik Willis, and maybe that gets Jordan Love back on track, and then he's a little bit more accurate, a little less turnover prone because his life's a little bit easier because the run game sets up the pass better. Like, is that something the Packers might do in this bye week, is just try to get back to basic for a few weeks and just let the run game set up the pass and make life a little bit easier for Jordan Love?
I think it would certainly make sense, and I think it would behoove them. I mean, look, you and I and Jesse talked this morning. We were talking about Love and the interceptions, and the interception that he threw. I'm going to fight the urge to make another wisecrack about Matt and the math of pick six in LA, as hard as it is. But the pick six that he throws against the Lions is the result of a shot play down the field that was there, and they didn't block it up sufficiently to give him time to throw it. And then he tries to check it down where he should have just thrown it out of bounds, and it turns into a pick six, and the snowball starts downhill, and they can't recover. But the fact that LaFleur dialed up that play to go downfield to Jaden Reed, and that it would have worked had they protected, I think is interesting, because it makes me wonder if Matt LaFleur's response to you, if you were asking him, would be, no, we're still going to be aggressive. We got a good running back. He's the top 5 or whatever in the league in rushing yards. We got some other guys we like, and we could certainly have Jordan be a little more just play within the system, and if it's not there, throw the ball out of bounds kind of a player. And that might be a good formula. I don't disagree with you on that, Jim. The issue is, does Matt LaFleur want to play that way? We know Jordan Love doesn't want to play that way. Does Matt LaFleur want to make him play that way? Because they do have the ability. Josh Jacobs has been dealing with an ankle injury. I don't know about you, but for a guy playing with an ankle injury, he's looked pretty darn good the last couple weeks.
Yep.
I would definitely lean into him. That's the reason you got him, was because you can lean into him the way you did when Malik Willis was quarterbacking your team. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see how they play the Bears. Just because there is let's look at the way the Lions won the game, right? Like, Amon-Ra St. Brown can come in his Green Bay one-word sucks hoodie, and he can talk about how delusional Packers fans are and this, that, and the next thing. But the fact of the matter is, the reasons the Lions won that game and won by 10 were, A, Jordan Love threw a pick six, which was a backbreaker, and B, they played a pretty boring take very minimal chances. Don't turn the ball over. Don't have your quarterback screw up. Game plan offensively, right? I mean, they had the one play where they did the kind of end around reverse thing where they lost 12 yards, which did not work very well for them late in the game. But the fact of the matter is they said, all right, it's raining. We're an outdoor team. We think our defense is playing well enough that these guys aren't going to get a lot on us. Let's not, throw the entire playbook at them and take risks. Let's just let Jared Goff complete passes like he's been doing at an 80% clip the last several weeks. Let's give the ball to our two really good running backs and keep the score low and go beat these guys instead of, they didn't need to score 52 like they did in the game the previous week against Tennessee. They knew what their formula was, and the Packers made so many self-inflicted mistakes that formula worked like a charm.
Last thing for me, Jason, I'm curious, do you think that Jordan Love's interception issue is something that can be coached away, or is it more so something that he just needs to learn and mature from? / do you think he's even going to be able to do that?
Yeah, I think it's both, first of all. I think he can grow and understand that, hey, there are just certain times where I can't take the chance, right? And both of the pick sixes, we don't even have, let's just say neither one of them is actually caught. Let's say both of them are dropped by the defender. They're still really, really bad decisions, and you just lucked out that they didn't turn into touchdowns. He had another throw like that in the Detroit game where it was like a bubble screen, and that could have been picked and taken to the house too. He's got to be better with his decisions, but not every, Rodgers spoiled us from the perspective of not putting the ball in harm's way. So it was just so rare that that's not normal. Now that said, he's got to put it in harm's way a lot less than he has been. And that's, to me, that's something that can be coached, but he has to also be open to the mentality now because he knows he's good, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't say that from he's become this arrogant, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I'm not saying that. But once you know what you can do in the NFL and you have confidence in what you can do in the NFL, you want to do the things that you know you can do in the NFL. And sometimes it leads you to do things that lead to interceptions or mistakes. And I think that's kind of what he's been working his way through. But I thought LaFleur was very clear that, look, I love his aggressiveness. I love his talent. I love his mentality. I just need him to recognize those times in the game where it's better to live to fight another day than to try and make something happen. And that's the way that Love has some Favre DNA in him, and that's the thing that these guys have to get a little bit. I'm not saying completely just take that away from him, but you got to get him to do it less than he is now because you're going to keep losing games if you don't.
Jason, thank you so much for joining us on your day off.
All right, guys, take care. Be good.
That's Jason Wilde. Don't miss out on the festive season at the Bruce Company. Kickstart your holiday season with exciting events like a visit with Icelandic horses and snowy owls, Molly. The reindeer fly-in and holiday open house, Ryan. How was ladies' night?
What's up with that?
It's pretty good.
Good. Over at the Bruce Company. And then, just for Tanya and I, Mr. and Mrs. Claus will be landing for a visit at the Bruce Company. Very excited for that. So join in this holiday season. Learn more about their upcoming events at brucecompany.com.
Jim, before you go, I am curious because I did hear you say on Wilde and Tausch today that you whatever your daughters and wife would like to do for Christmas, whether it's different lights and different decorations and all that, you're going to do whatever it is.
Well, does not get me on a ladder. Like once
do not get you on a ladder,
no,
and you're not a fan of the inflatable things in their yard. I understand.
Yeah.
If your daughters insisted that you dress up as Santa Claus and your wife dresses up as Mrs. Claus, are you doing it?
Who says we don't do that anyways? But
you're not lying when you talk about the Bruce Company, I guess.
maybe we're Mr. and Mrs. Claus. I would say no. I don't know. That seems expensive. It just seems like a waste of money. Like I gotta buy a suit and everything.
Expensive?
Well, I gotta buy
How
a suit.
expensive do you think like a fake velvet suit is?
I mean, velvet in this economy?
I don't know.
Patent leather boots.
Oh. Head to toe,
What are you getting,
Jim
like Stuart
Rutledge.
Weissman? Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, if I'm gonna do it, I gotta go all in. I gotta get the hat. Do I want pillows? Is this what I like for the belly?
Yeah, you got pillows. Just let the beard grow out. You don't even need to buy one.
I'm thinking about letting the beard grow out a little bit.
Ooh.
Like Jason
Gross.
Kelsey style. Well, good
Gross.
thing Molly's not my
No.
wife. But
Yeah.
I honestly feel like Tanya's
not
gonna have the
because
same
of you.
reaction. So yeah.
It's just not sanitary. That's it.
Here's the thing. I like the idea until it gets super itchy, and then I'm out. So I'll probably have it. I'll probably end up trimming it this weekend. Every week I'm like, maybe I'll grow it out, and then by like Sunday I'm like, I gotta trim this or I'm gonna go insane. That's usually the cycle for that. All right.
I understand.
Yeah. Oh, really? Tell us more about your beard, Molly. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Hey, this is Hannibal Burris. You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, playing smooth jams right after sports. Y'all still playing the smooth jams, right?
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starion Bank, with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starion Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience at starionbank.com. Member FDIC. Number 7 Wisconsin volleyball hosting Iowa Friday night, and number 3 Penn State Saturday afternoon. Anna Smrek joining the Jump Around, a digital show streaming Thursdays on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel. Her take on why there's no place like home.
They always show up and show out. No matter win or lose, we always have so much support, and that is what truly gives us the confidence to go out there and know that there's always going to be people cheering us on. It's an experience like no other.
Tap in for both matches on 100.5 ESPN or stream it on Wisconsin On Demand.
Pella's windows and doors feature durable materials, custom colors, and innovative features like shades between the glass. Get 0% interest for 60 months now through November 8th at PellaWI.com.
Are you tired of yo-yo dieting? Are you thinking about trying the latest fad prescription drug with their long list of possible serious side effects? Most people don't realize that while you may lose weight, it's just temporarily suppressing your hunger, so as soon as you get off the drug, your frustration and your weight could come right back to haunt you. At MadisonWeightLoss.com, we know the secret to quick weight loss and, most importantly, safe and lasting weight loss. Our program has helped thousands of clients break the weight loss code. Gone are the starvation diet plans. Our program is healthy weight loss, using real whole foods and proprietary strategies to help guide our clients through their successful weight loss with a roadmap to keep the weight off long term.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. I'm celebrating a birthday this week, and I'm also celebrating how I haven't felt or looked as good as I do right now in years. It's all thanks to Madison Weight Loss. In 60 days, I dropped 40 pounds of unwanted fat simply by changing up my diet. With expert coaching and guidance, trust me, Madison Weight Loss is the real deal. Check it out for yourself at MadisonWeightLoss.com.
Pizza Hut's wings are the best thing to happen to pizza night since, well, pizza. Introducing Pizza Hut's new Big Boneless Wing Bundle. For only $15.99, enjoy 16 crispy boneless wings in 2 different flavors, 2 dipping sauces, and a double order of fries. The wings are sauced and tossed to perfection and available in 9 flavors like honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, and sweet chili. It's the perfect bundle for game days, girls' nights, family night, or any tailgate party. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Jim, Matt, and Molly every Thursday to find out where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes and High Life Lights. To celebrate our love for dive bars, we are going to tell you about some of our favorites, including one featured dive bar that will offer $2 High Lifes and High Life Lights for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin like Utica Bar, Red Mouse, New Paradise Lounge, and the Dive Inn.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Hey, it's UW Professor Hannibal Burris. You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly, almost after dark. I don't care if it's after dark or it's sunset time. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton is a fantastic place to go for their sizzle, swizzle, and swirl happy hour. But it's more than that, Molly. After you have your babies, your husband should take you down and reward you with an amazing dinner at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse because you guys can share a porterhouse. My wife and I like to do the sweet potato casserole because it's kind of candy crusted, so it's a little bit of dessert mixed in there with it. We do sauteed mushrooms. I'm not sure if you're a mushrooms fan. And then shrimp.
Love mushrooms.
Yeah, and then shrimp. Their mushrooms are amazing. It is fantastic. Go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, whether it's a big-time important event like your first night out after twins, or just a sizzle, swizzle, and swirl happy hour. We're going to be there just less than a month from now, too, to see Lee and everyone over at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, and we are presented by Coors Light. If the Mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
Molly, are you on Threads?
No. So actually, maybe you can give me a little lesson because I have an Instagram, obviously, but do you have to make a Threads account or do you automatically just have a Threads account?
Good question. I don't know, but I have a Threads account and they are linked. JR ESPN Wisconsin is I think both, but my Instagram and my Threads. I still obviously have to use Twitter for work, but Twitter's just full of bots and it's just gross now. And so I've moved over to Threads. It's not a perfect app. It's not Twitter in its prime, but it's definitely better than Twitter is now because Twitter now is a dumpster fire. So I'm enjoying it. So I'm now trying to create more content on YouTube, on Instagram. Of course, there's my TikTok, and now there's Threads. But it's worth giving it a shot. It's kind of a nice, welcoming community. I'm getting follows from people that – because here's the thing, a little tricky part, a little trick for you. Some of the more famous people on Twitter, they're newer to Threads, and then you get in early, and then they're like, "Oh, you're following me? I'll follow you back." So you can almost get yourself. Now I feel like I have 9 followers on Threads, but I'm working at it. I still have to figure out exactly how it all works and everything.
Is one of those 9 like Robert De Niro? Is that why you bring up the celebrities, or what is it?
Yeah, I was curious. Who are you referring to?
No, not really.
And why Robert De Niro would come to your brain, Ryan? That is the most random ass person you could think of.
He just seems like a guy who doesn't like Twitter much these days. If I had to guess,
he seems like a guy
Twitter?
that's not on social
Fair.
media or even has an iPhone. He probably has a flip phone.
Also a fair point, Molly. I don't know. He seems like a tech savvy grandpa. I feel like he would know how to work a smartphone these days.
A tech savvy, dirty grandpa, am I right? But
why is he dirty?
There's a movie.
Because the movies.
Oh, is there a movie?
Yeah, Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa, they're so funny.
What?
Dirty Grandpa and Dirty Grandpa 2, I think.
When did
2
these
dirty
come out?
grandpas.
Jim will see him once the trilogy is fully completed.
Yeah, I can't.
3 dirty grandpas.
That sounds like a party I don't want to go to. I'll just tell you that right now. We're gonna take a quick break here, and we're gonna play "Don't Quote Me" on the other side. Is that right?
That's right.
And we're gonna bring in an old boy, Jesse Nelson. So I did their little Tauscher reference.
He's here?
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Right.
Big smile. Got the thumbs up.
Bobby
Hill.
Is he coming in for
next.
Don't Quote Me, or
Yes.
is he gonna fight with you? Okay.
Why would he fight with me?
He's gonna produce
I
the
don't know.
final 30 minutes.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Bye, Ryan.
See ya.
It's Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973, and they're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether it's the sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none and has exactly what you're looking for. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out the all-new 2024 Honda Prologue, Honda's first all-electric SUV, or browse their selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
This is former Wisconsin linebacker Chris Orr. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station on Wisconsin.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by Green Bay Game Night. Following every Packers game this season, join Homer Tausch, Gary Ellerson, Jason Wilde, and the fans for immediate reactions and analysis. Green Bay Game Night on 100.5 ESPN and streaming on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. No Green Bay Game Night this weekend as the Packers and the Badgers are on bye, so no football in the state of Wisconsin, but plenty of other sports, basketball and volleyball. You can hear volleyball as number 7 Badgers face Iowa at the Fieldhouse tonight. That first serve is at 6 p.m., so pregame coverage with Jesse Nelson and John Audius begins at 5:30 right after Jim, Matt, and Molly right here on 100.5 ESPN. And then the Badgers also take it on number 3 Penn State tomorrow at the Fieldhouse. That 2:30 p.m. game is going to be in prime time on NBC, and you'll also be able to hear it right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of Wisconsin Badgers volleyball. Then Badgers basketball, they're also in action this Sunday as they take on App State at the Kohl Center. That's an 11 a.m. tip-off. And then the Milwaukee Bucks, they're back in action tonight after finally getting back in the win column. They're 2-6, and they have a road game against the Knicks tonight. The Knicks, 6.5-point favorites per ESPN bet. First tip-off is at 6:30.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
We're learning a lot about each other. Jim's an onion. You got to peel back the layers to get to the good parts.
He's not just a basic Bears fan.
And no one in Madison wants to hear from the Bears fan that Jim is. He's really annoying. So it's like, hey, you should be lucky to be to have a good quarterback. Look at what my team has. Nobody cares what your team has. They only care about Jordan Love. And the reality is, Jim happens to be right on his assessment of Jordan Love, but it's annoying because of the angle in which he's coming from.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison, alongside Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Sorry, I had to send a text to Molly making fun of her. Get into the show, 844-770-3776. Looking to get away this winter? Well, now is your chance. Our friends at Coors Light are giving away a Florida experience this December, and you could win. This trip for two includes airfare, hotel voucher, club-level tickets to the Boca Bowl on Wednesday, December 18th, and exclusive access to events surrounding the Boca Bowl. All you have to do is order an ice-cold Coors Light and scan the QR code at any of the following locations. That will include Scounty Bar, Paoli Pub, Draft House, Tanner's, and Pooley's. Winners will be announced on Wisconsin College Game Day on Friday, November 29th. Jim, Matt, and Molly, live from the Everlight Solar Studio. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's Crush, a Coors Light.
Primetime Wollersheim here with me. And now we are joined by the hall monitor, Jesse Nelson.
Feel like we've done this before today, Jim.
Goodness gracious. A little bit of news here from Brian Windhorst, who tweeted earlier that they're in the trade market for trading anyone, not Dame or Giannis. He said today, I don't think help is on the way through the trade market. They called everyone in the league, and they're not getting anyone to call him back. But are we surprised by that? Like, what do you want? It's like, speaking of Robert De Niro movies, Meet the Parents, when they go to, the Walgreens there, and he's like, do you have any, expensive champagne? He's like, we got Mums. He's like, no, something where, I can spend some money on. You can buy a bunch of Mums. That's basically what the Bucks are shopping.
It's a really good reference.
That was good.
You can have a bunch of players. It's like the old, trade machine, when you're playing a video game. How about I give you 10 players for one good player? Because then their cumulative score adds up to one good player. You're telling me people don't want Bobby Portis or Pat Connaughton?
It's money basketball, Jim.
Or Marshawn Beauchamp? I will just go back to the draft. Stop drafting teenagers if you're trying to win now. Right, Jesse?
Yeah, seems like a no-brainer. Stop developing for the future if your goal is to
Molly's proposed here she's ready for senior day.
She is.
Oh, I mean,
Your
thank
senior
you.
picture?
I appreciate it. Browse on fleek. No, I'm just so like captivated by your conversation right now. No, I was actually thinking about that was my thinking face, so that can be better
It
than
was just
when
like,
I have like
it's
a
like, look off to the left. Those
fair.
are such awkward photos. You're like, bend your arm all to the one side, bend your arm to the other side, look up to the left, and then look to the right and seem natural. Oh, sure. Perfect. Awesome.
I know I've seen your senior pictures, Jim, but Jesse, I would love to see your senior pictures. I just wonder what they looked like.
It's nothing. My style hasn't gotten any better, but it's nothing to write home about.
Khaki shorts and a t-shirt.
Was there a vest?
No, button down. I think it was a yellow button down shirt with a white t-shirt underneath it, and I think the buttons were open, so it was like with jeans, and so like sitting on the rock
I say
somewhere.
this with all due respect, because still at that age, moms have too much influence on your fashion for too many young men. Is your mom too involved in the fashion?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
How does that work for girls for senior pictures? Are the parents involved, or is it all your own devices?
No, I got to decide everything that I wanted to. I think like my mom probably gave me a budget, or maybe I even bought it myself. I don't know. But no, it's all me.
Okay.
But that almost makes it worse because now I look at it, I'm like, what was I thinking with some of these outfits?
You're like, Mom, why didn't you come give me some heads up?
You know, like do you know like those? I think they're called doilies that are at like your grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the little crochet things for the table.
Yeah. Put your drink on it.
I definitely wore a shirt that was like a doily. I'll dig up the picture. I think it's actually on my Instagram.
What?
Jim, you said you're on Instagram and Threads. I'm not kidding.
I haven't creeped on your
on
your Instagram, but
please don't. But it was like doily fabric. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Well, now I know what I'm doing. I'm killing time at the airport this weekend. I'm just gonna creep through old pictures of Molly Brown, like them.
Oh, don't worry. I'm just gonna send it to you in the group chat right now.
Perfect.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What are we
you're
doing
telling
here?
me.
Don't quote me?
Yeah, we're supposed to do it. Don't quote us.
Don't quote me.
That's what I was told I was here for.
We're not saying it's gonna happen,
Let it ride.
but if it does, then we want credit.
Say that again, because that is an amazing take.
I told you all.
If not, well,
Don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said.
Yeah, Jesse, I know you didn't like that beep there, but we like to get a little risque
You
here.
made me swear, Ryan.
How'd I make you swear?
I thought it. So
Same.
you made me, the audience, swear.
Yep. It's impossible to sing that song without saying.
I always
the beat
catch my
part.
kids because like once in a while they'll like hear like we make them listen to the edited version, but then they'll like think they know the swear, and every once in a while like they'll be like, "Wait, Dad, you can't play that song." They swore. I'm like, "No, they didn't," but you know what the word is, so you just swore in your head. Grounded.
All right. Well, I'll lean out of this segment then, but it is Don't Quote Me. And as we know, guys, there's no Packers game this weekend, but we still want our Don't Quote Me predictions for the rest of this weekend's slate. We can do NFL. We can do college football. I have a feeling Jesse might hit up some volleyball predictions this weekend. We'll see. But Jim, why don't you start us off? The Bears are playing this weekend, so what is your Don't Quote Me prediction?
My Don't Quote Me prediction is around the Chicago Bears, and it's their matchup against New England. Are they going to lose a third game to the Commanders? Because they lost to the Arizona Cardinals, in my opinion, because they weren't over the horrible Hail Mary loss to the Commanders. That hangover was brought to Arizona, and they had a bad game. Now they're at home. They've won a lot of games at Soldier Field. Can their defense lock back in? And I actually feel pretty good the defense is going to lock back in. But here's my Don't Quote Me, that the Bears will demote offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. They won't fire him because they don't fire coaches, whether it's head coach or coordinators during the season. But he could have his play calling duties removed if they lose to New England. I think it definitely will happen. But if they win like 13-10 or something like that, I think Thomas Brown, who has Badger connections, former Badger running back coach for one season, Thomas Brown called some plays in Carolina last year after they let their staff go. I think Thomas Brown, if the Bears lose to New England or have a poor offensive performance, Thomas Brown will be calling plays for the Chicago Bears against the Green Bay Packers.
Jets 2.0.
All right, that's my Don't Quote Me.
All right. So it's only if they lose to New England, though.
Or a low, like if they win like
Okay.
7 to, if it's like where they're not scoring a lot of points and they still look broken on offense.
So does that like nullify his prediction? If the Bears win, then it's like he's immune from the rest
Basically,
of
if
it. Like,
something happens, I don't know how you want to do it. I'll lose if they win.
I'm new
Jim
here, but that
loses
seems
if the
kinda
Bears
lame.
win. We'll take that. No,
there
I
you go.
kind of like that, actually. All right, then in that case, Molly, what is your Don't Quote Me prediction for this weekend's games?
All right, my don't quote me is that Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings, when they take on the Jacksonville Jaguars this weekend, will have better stats than Jamar Chase did last night against the Ravens, which, for reference, Jamar Chase had 11 catches for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
Bet.
That's a heck of a don't quote me, Molly.
I like that.
That might have been my craziest / worst don't quote me.
Oh,
Depends
that's
how you
not
look at
bad.
it.
That's not bad for what we're looking for out of don't quote me, because that's not impossible. That's not out of the realm. So it'd be fun if it happens.
Can't wait to get back here on Monday. Justin Jefferson, 3 catches for 27 yards.
Yeah, they
Literally,
just run the
that's
ball.
what it's going to be. That's
Aaron
literally
Jones
what
has
it's gonna
200 yards.
be.
All
Jordan
right.
Addison pops off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Jesse Nelson, we brought you in here for a reason. What is your don't quote me prediction for this weekend?
My prediction. This is my first time I get to do this. I'm excited. 3 undefeated teams will lose this weekend. I believe the Penn State Nittany Lions, who are undefeated in the Big Ten portion of the schedule, not the football team, the volleyball team, 3rd ranked in the country, will lose at the Fieldhouse, and the 7th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers will find their signature victory tomorrow afternoon in front of a red-out crowd sold out at the Fieldhouse. I also believe Army, who is undefeated in college football, will lose to North Texas on Saturday afternoon. And I believe the Denver Broncos will defeat the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium
parlay here?
on Sunday. 3 undefeated teams go down.
You're just a hater, is what's happening. I like your Penn State losing to Wisconsin one, but Chiefs are not losing to Denver. Denver stinks.
I like the Chiefs one.
Bo
Sounds
Nix is
good.
stinky.
The Chiefs are always good for one bad loss a year. Usually it's to the Raiders. They got the Raiders figured out this year. Broncos coming in. Broncos have been hot. They had won 5 out of 6 until they lost to the Ravens last weekend, but it was closer than the score indicated. The Chiefs, short week, playing on Monday Night Football against the Buccaneers. Hard-fought game, overtime. You're dragging a little bit when you get back for a noon kickoff on a Sunday. Sleepy a little bit. Divisional opponent. Give me the Broncos over the Chiefs on Sunday afternoon.
The Broncos
Chiefs win.
stink. They stinky. They're wins.
They're 5-4.
The Saints and the Panthers are some of those wins, and the Raiders.
Yeah.
The Jets.
The Chiefs have lost to the Raiders like 3 years in a row, and the Raiders have been hot garbage 3 years in
Isn't
a row.
it the stat that the Broncos haven't beaten the Chiefs in like 4 years? I'm pretty sure they haven't.
Yeah, the Broncos are due for a nice win over the Chiefs.
You really do.
This year's the year
So the
for
Bears
Jesse.
are due
Bo
against the
Nix.
Packers.
Bo Nix.
Good rationale.
Nix
Yeah.
is the fix to get the win over the Chiefs, huh?
Got him.
Aren't you glad you brought me in here, Jim?
Good
Huh?
Lord.
Well, Jesse had a parlay, and guess what, guys? So do I. I actually am predicting that the rest of the NFC North this weekend, since the Packers are not playing, I'm predicting the Bears, Vikings, and the Lions all get double-digit wins this weekend. I think the Bears will get a double-digit win against the Patriots. No, the Flying Jims, don't quote me. I also think the Vikings are going to kill Jacksonville, probably
They can win
because of
10-0
Justin Jefferson.
and not nullify it.
Oh, that's true. Okay, then it could still win. All right, but then the last one, I think the Lions are going to house the Texans. I think the Texans are not a great team, and I think the Lions, they got Zadarius Smith. Let's see how much he helps their pass rush, but I don't think they need much help against that Texans O-line.
This is a far in advance, don't quote me, but Washington gives off Texans vibes, and I think Washington next year and Jaden Daniels next year are going to not struggle, but like come down to earth like Stroud and the Texans have.
So did you guys hear the open audio from Evan Cohen talking about why Jim's annoying, but he's right sometimes?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know his angle for that, right, is that he's annoyed by people saying Jaden Daniels is better than Caleb Williams. So he's plotting on the Commander's downfall.
I'm not plotting. I can't speak it into existence, but I'm just saying.
But you want it.
He's annoying, but I also think he's right on that.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
sophomore slump, very typical thing that happens in the National Football League. Just ask Jordan Love this year.
And again, C.J. Stroud isn't bad, and I'm not saying Jaden Daniels is bad or going to come back. I'm just saying that I do think that that's going to flatten out a little bit.
And Caleb Williams is so advanced that he's already hit a sophomore slump.
Well, because here's the other part of it. Cliff Kingsbury, he continues it up. He continues it. He'll go somewhere else. Like, there are flaws.
What if he gets hired to be Caleb Williams' new head
at least
coach?
the Bears would have the hottest coach in the North, right? Cliff Kingsbury.
It'd be close.
It would be tight.
Dan Campbell can do no wrong right
Dan
now. Dan
Campbell's got a good look. Kevin O'Connell looks like, I don't know, he kind of looks like an alien.
He's just generic. Like, he just looks like generic white guy.
They're all in the same category. They're all just basic white guys that are like decently attractive.
Kingsbury?
And coach football. Yes.
Eberflus?
Kingsbury might be a little bit above that.
He gets compared to Ryan Gosling. I don't think the rest of them are getting compared to Ryan Gosling.
Jared Goff. So does Jared Goff.
Jared Goff does?
Yes.
I have not heard Jared Goff compared to Ryan Gosling.
Yes, you have.
Just Molly and her. Is that the Kay Adams show?
No, this is a Molly Brown show.
Who'd you steal this take from, Molly?
No, guys, this is for sure a thing. This is for sure a thing. I'm Googling it.
Are
you sure?
Well,
yes.
Google
it. Google it.
We
Jared Goff, Ryan Gosling.
Okay, I'm not going to do that. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly presented by Coors Light.
And Molly, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
Hi, it's Eric from Canopy Wealth Management. Our years of experience have prepared us to guide you through your life transitions. Our local professional team brings over 90 years of collective experience in the wealth management industry for the benefit of our clients. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started on your financial future today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Jim, Matt, and Molly every Thursday to find out where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes and High Life Lights. To celebrate our love for dive bars, we are going to tell you about some of our favorites, including one featured dive bar that will offer $2 High Lifes and High Life Lights for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin like Utica Bar, Red Mouse, New Paradise Lounge, and the Dive Inn.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
FX presents American Sports Story. Aaron Hernandez.
Football is all I got. Everything's okay when I'm playing ball.
You can't make mistakes, Aaron. People are watching you.
From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Is there something that you want to tell me?
You don't know the kind of thoughts I have.
FX's American Sports Story. Aaron Hernandez. All new Tuesdays on FX. Stream on Hulu.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. Metro Ford is also the home of the 2 years no-charge maintenance offer on new vehicle purchases, making it the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at metrofordofmadison.com. That's metrofordofmadison.com.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris are joined by MJ's TV partner, Lisa Byington. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Come see what the buzz is all about at Madison Axe, Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Enjoy 8 lanes of axe throwing, craft beer, interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard with 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, bar table games, and more. Perfect for date night, groups, corporate meetings, or private events. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
Phish Friday on Jim, Matt, and Molly is brought to you by Off-Broadway Draft House. Enjoy a traditional Friday fish fry at Madison's favorite neighborhood gathering spot, Off-Broadway Draft House. We asked and you answered.
What?
Coming to the stage, it's pole dancing on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Hey now.
Presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
All right, guys, we're a little late on time here, so we got to make it a quick old pole dance. And we talked about our stage names yesterday, but guys, we got to ask. They're asking the hard-hitting questions on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning. Would you ever rip the mold off a muffin and eat it? Molly Brown, I want to know from you first.
Absolutely not. There's no muffin that's worth eating anything with mold on it. That's disgusting, Jim. Knock it off. I'm grossed out. Stop it.
I didn't do anything. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy's question.
No, there's nothing worth it.
And you mean eat the muffin, not the mold?
I think it's eating the muffin off of the mold. I believe that's what they're asking.
No, I think it's cutting the mold off of the muffin and then continuing to eat the rest of the muffin. That's not moldy.
Would you ever rip the mold off a muffin and eat it? I think you're eating the mold.
No, you're not.
No, then absolutely not.
Poorly worded.
I'm not eating mold.
That's a loser move.
Eating mold is a loser mood. Go be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison this weekend. And I'll miss you all Monday and Tuesday. I'll be in Oklahoma. Maybe I'll call in. Live from OKC.
Buy some cowboy boots.
This is Jim, Matt, maybe I will. Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Kick off your weekend with the best fish fry in Madison at Off-Broadway Draft House. Serving all day on Friday starting at 11 a.m., you can enjoy cod, bluegill, perch, and walleye. Wash it all down with an Off-Broadway Draft House old-fashioned or try any of our rotating seasonal tap beers or specialty cocktails. Off-Broadway Draft House, Madison's People's Choice winners for favorite bar. Wait